Namanda, 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 namanda.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to today's family service. I'm Maria Piper, and I will be your chairperson today. We will begin this morning service with a San Bujo on pages 24 and 25, and afterwards we will be doing the Sei Ge on page 93. Now we'll be doing the Sei Ge on page 93.
Shin Buddhism.
Please stand for the Gatha Nembutsu 1 on page 99 and remain standing for the reading of the three treasures on page 8. Nembutsu 1 is in the white book, page 99, and Three Treasures, page 8 in the purple book.
Switch books, please. Page 8. Three Treasures, number 1. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not realize the truth in this life, when will it be realized? Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we absorb ourselves in the principle of the way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves the supreme will. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we be submerged in the depths of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we live in harmony in the great assembly as disciples of Buddha and be freed from all hindrances, becoming units of true accord in the life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through myriad ages of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teachings. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda, Namanda, Namanda. Please be seated.
Now Reverend Fujimoto will share a Dharma message with us.
Good morning, everyone. Ohaigouzaimasu. So we have a lot of Dharma School people outside. They're having a Halloween festivities, Halloween party. So some of the decorations are pretty scary. So if you get scared, just hang on to the person you're sitting next to, okay? All right. So we just concluded last Thursday. We had our class, BEC class, that was hosted by Enmanji, and it was on the Sei Ge. So I thought it's appropriate to chant the Sei Ge today, and I have notes all over the place on my desk, after the 4 weeks of class, and so I thought I should use some of these and share some of the thoughts with you, and getting ready for the class, going through, we've chanted the Sei Ge for many, many years here, and as youngsters, and listening to our elders do this, and at conferences and wherever, so many gatherings. So not only here in the United States, but for generations and generations in Japan and other places as well. This has been chanted, and so people ask, are we supposed to know what this means? They wanted to know a little bit more, and so I thought it'd be interesting to explore some of that. So to me, kind of the vision was that the Sei Ge is like this little river flowing down, and we get to visit where it started and the surrounding areas of this river that's been flowing for years and years, centuries. So I think, okay, this would be kind of fun. Explore for myself as well. So as we climb over the hill, going on this hike together, we see down below is the Sei Ge River, and on the way there's these groves of trees and these, rock formations that we have to hike over and through, kind of explaining the setting of where all of this is. So it's kind of neat to explore it in this manner, but it's also kind of confusing because it gets so involved, right? The Sei Ge is right in the middle of the larger sutra of the three main sutras of Jodo Shinchi Buddhism, the most important sutra, and it's right in the middle of it. So we have to talk a little bit about the larger sutra, and in there is the story of Dharmakata, who became Amida Buddha. So the whole history of the beginnings of Amida Buddha are all connected to this thing. And so as we go more and more, I thought, wow, this is so cool. Look at all these things we could see. It's like going on this sightseeing trip, right? They're going to Japan. They're going to Bhutan and different places. They're going on trips in a couple weeks. And this was our little journey. And so, but I felt disappointed because I felt like I'm losing people along the way. They're not getting this vision that I'm getting, And so they're worried. I'm telling them, look at these beautiful trees, all different types of trees. And so, are we supposed to remember what the names of every single tree is? And they're getting caught in all the detail of the story. I said, no, never mind. Just look at the whole view. Yeah, but I don't know, what is this rock formation? No, you're missing the point. Look at the view. So, and they weren't getting the same view that I was getting. So I was a little bit frustrated. Some people were okay with it, and some people looked like, I don't like this class anymore. So, so I felt a little disappointed, of my poor effort as a teacher. I thought, gee, this is not so cool. So today I thought, if we just really boiled it down to me, what are three aspects of Shin Buddhism that resonate with me? Huh? Like, what are three main points that I have come to appreciate about this Shin Buddhist path? So I thought about that a little bit, and I thought maybe I could share it in this way. And as I thought about it, probably the main point is that Shin Buddhism is a grassroots movement of Buddhism. So a spiritual path where it's not required that you become a monk and live in a monastery or become a scholar and take all these classes and things like this. You don't have to do that. You can, but you don't have to. So Shinran Shonin, he addressed the farmers, the fishermen, the merchants, all around in his setting of those days. And these are people who have daily responsibilities and obligations. And they didn't have the time to go and study or to be a monk. They had people to take care of, family that is depending on them. Some of them are just barely eking out a living, right? And so these are ordinary people doing ordinary things, everyday people living everyday lives. And this is us, right? And it's so perfectly fitting for the congregations that we have here, the communities that we live in. So that was something that was touched me early on. And it's so important, right? So it just felt so welcoming to people who, no matter what they did, right? And if they wanted to come to service like this, they could. So I don't really care to come inside and chant, but I cook chicken pretty good, and so they stand out there and cook chicken, right? And they do all these different things for us. So. And another part of that is that we are asked to be open rather than closed, to be other-centered rather than self-centered, right? And so when we think of it, then we are breaking out of our ego-encrusted shells so we can connect with other people, other things happening around us. Just yesterday we had a memorial service, a one-year service here, and we had lost a young member, and it was her memorial service. A lot of the family people came here, and in part of the talk with them, I was should I tell that? Let me tell that later, okay? So when we look at this interconnected reality that we call here Amida Buddha, Shin Buddhism is not only addressing the top 1%, the top people, the scholars and the monks who could understand, but it's everyone is welcome, okay? In fact, Shin Buddhism is looking at the bottom 1%, making sure they are welcome, okay? So you don't have to devote yourself to all this study and practice, but everyone is welcome. The bottom 1% is welcome by Amida, embraced by Amida. And this is good. Maybe not embraced by me, but embraced by Amida, right? Yeah. So these are things, everyone is included and in this sense, so welcoming. And I like that aspect of the teachings, okay? Another thing is Shindan's view of practice. His view of practice altered how we see religious life from a path of self-perfection to a path of gratitude. Okay? So again, you don't have to become a monk. So it's not emphasizing practice, but it's emphasizing gratitude. So other schools, in here too, we learn about the 6 paramitas, the Eightfold Path, and these are kind of guidelines where you can live a smoother life. You find fewer problems and troubles if you follow these guidelines, okay? You get tied to less negative karma in your life by following these, okay? But in a sense, it's saying, I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better and better. I'm going to work at this and get really good. And so this is your self-centered drive that's still continuing. So this is kind of a limitation of just doing these practices, okay? And here we emphasize Amida connecting with us. And this is a point that we open to. So later on in the class, one of the questions were, we're always talking about our blind passions, and we have greed, anger, and ignorance, and we can't get rid of them. So on our own, we can't get to become awakened, to become an enlightened person. And it was voiced that, like frustrated, I'm never going to be able to advance. And so what's the point, right? What's the point? And so there, even to get to that perspective is important. That's so far along. So it depends on how you see, okay? I cannot become enlightened. I have greed, anger, and ignorance, never will get rid of them. Cannot, impossible to become enlightened. That's our perspective. From Amida's perspective, I will save all beings, guaranteed. Everyone will become enlightened. So it sounds like two completely opposite directions. And how do we resolve that? Okay? And that's a conundrum. Extremely difficult. How do we wrestle with that? It doesn't even make sense, right? And so this is our normal way of looking at problems and problem solving. And so Buddhism is asking us to look beyond our normal way, because our normal way is my-centered perspective, and it's opening it up to other-centered perspective, a Buddhist prajna, Buddhist wisdom perspective. So Amida is able to save us, to enlighten us, because we cannot do it ourselves, right? And so this is something that we wrestle with, but it takes time to even get to that question. So when we come to that point, we need to stay there and consider that, how is this resolved? I am still self-centered perspective, ego self, trying to figure out how do I get from point A to point B, and it's not that straightforward, it's not that direct, and Buddhism is looking at more than that, to take these two perspectives connected together, resolving this together. Okay. So that's one of the difficult points in Buddhism, and that's one of the things that we touched upon where people got lost in the woods. Okay? But it's important, and even to come to that question is so, it took a lot to get there, and it's so close to, wrestling with very major questions and concerns there. When we come to, I think Buddhism has us, to live a life of gratitude rather than doing this self-perfection. You can't just decide to live with gratitude, right? You have to be aware of all these causes and conditions that are connected. Then you're able to see, yeah, I should be grateful for all these things. So yesterday I started to tell this story when we were at the memorial service, right? A story about arigato. And we all know Japanese arigato. We've heard maybe at a restaurant or just people talking. Arigato means thank you for everything. So this sense of gratitude, right? And the story is that Reverend Uno, he went to see his father who was dying of dialysis failure. So he flew home and stayed with his father for a couple of days, and then when it was time for him to leave, he went into his father's room and told him, "Pop, arigato, thanks for everything." And he wanted to say more, but he knew this is the last time he's going to see his father alive, right? So he's getting choked up, couldn't say anymore. So his father says, no, arigato is what I want to say. Thank you for everything, right? And so they have this exchange, but he explains the story that arigato comes from, the root word is arigatai, and it's a Buddhist worldview saying that everything is so many connected causes and conditions that allow any aspect, any point of your life is almost miraculous that something could happen, that you are here today, that you're sitting with so-and-so, that, Maria is able to chair. Morgan couldn't make it, that Mamie is here today, that she made it. People are well enough to come to the temple. So many things had to happen just perfectly for us to be here today in any situation. So that kind of sense, you have to have an awareness of all these interconnected things for us to really be grateful. Okay? You can't just pretend to be grateful because it's a nice thing that good people do. You have to be able to see these things. And so it's this awareness of this interconnected reality, some of the things we recognize, some of the things we can't. And all of it together is what we're calling Amida, right? So to be aware of that is opening ourselves to our relationship with reality, our relationship with Amida, that we connect, invited to connect through Namo Amida Butsu. So then, Shindan's view comes to this deep gratitude that is received, and then we resolve to share this gratitude with others. Okay? So, I am so grateful that I have able to live this life, to drink water, eat food, right? Be with the people I love, all these things that I'm able to have, and not only sitting here living like a king, but to share this with all others. So the benefit of self must be connected to the benefit of others. And so this is the bodhisattva ideal, that I don't want to become enlightened. I refuse to become enlightened unless everyone becomes enlightened. So your concern for other people is no more, no less important than your concern for yourself, right? So this is this benefit of self and benefit of others. So there's another aspect of Buddhism. I like that. It makes sense. It's not just only each person thinking about their own self, but concern for each other. And that's how we should be as a community, as a world. Right? So I like that. Right? And then finally, I thought just the fact that Amida is a symbol of reality. Everything going on around us is Amida. Right? Not a god or a deity, not someone who we're supposed to recognize that created this world, created human beings, and created this situation. Not someone who, when you die, you go in front of them and they judge whether you were a good person or a bad person, whether you should get rewarded or punished. None of this, right? That was hard to swallow. Lots of people seem to come to the Buddhist temple from a Christian background. So, I got kind of tired of the guilt trip that they put on you, and so this seems more comfortable to me. So, yeah. Well, why don't you stay for a while and listen to what we're saying, right? And so you hear that from other people. So because of that, just listening to the truths of reality, we call this Amida, Namo Amida Butsu, but the historical Buddha, Shakyamuni, he's centered on how to recognize and resolve the suffering in our lives. Each week today we read the three treasures, and on the part of the Sangha, the last portion, we're saying, live in harmony, live a life free of hindrances, live in true accord, live in the spirit of universal oneness, live a life free from the bondage of selfishness. Okay? So a lot of those remind me of playing music, right? To live in harmony, to live in accord, to not be in discord, right? So we have this harmony, not just creating my own song, but this harmony, all of us together. It's like this symphony going on every time we gather. This music is happening as we interact with each other, and through that we learn what harmony is, what accord is. Right? We know when we argue about each other about, we can't make sushi like this. Who taught you how to make sushi? We can't cook chicken like this. You want to get to the back of the line. Why don't you go skin them over there tomorrow? And you don't belong on the cook's line. All right, how to make anything tempura? Do you qualify or not? Right, and so all this judgment going on, but through that we have some disharmony, but we learn how to work with it, bring it back to harmony, and this is what the Sangha does, and this is our practice, right? Yeah. So all these things are happening normally, naturally, and we learn how to resolve and to live together. So this is, in a sense, practice, but in a sense, we take responsibility for how we act. We take responsibility for our wellness in life by living in this manner. Okay. So this is another thing that I appreciate in this Shin Buddhism. Everything is just like common sense, following through with that common sense. Right? I can remember listening to my father would be playing in the front of the temple, and I'm there with my friends. We take a break from playing baseball or something, and are sitting down on the steps of the Placer Buddhist Church, and my dad comes out and working on his things inside, but he likes us coming to talk to us and things like this. And one of the phrases I remember that seeing things through rose-colored glasses. We see things how we want to see things, so we don't see the truth of it. So we have to get this proper perspective, so we don't just see things from my perspective, and those kind of things. I was single digit age, right? But to have that come up, it's like percolating. These kind of thoughts are percolating through my connection. Yeah, those are things that, because it's so normal, natural sense, common sense religion, I think it was a huge step. You find when you look at other religions, there's some choices that you're trying to be the religion itself, the organization is trying to oppress people or bring fear of falling into hell, fear of, not finding your proper place, fear of being judged by your actions and things like this, and you get controlled. And this is something that the Nembutsu path, Shindan Shonin, was doing things, explaining things. So this living in fear and oppression through religion is eliminated, completely eliminated. So how freeing is that? So that's another thing that I like. So all of these things, again and again, some realistic perspective, common sense view, taken, even further. As we do this, cooking chicken together, eating bagels together, we come to a deeper understanding of ourselves, of our lives. I think what we come to is a foundation of stability for our lives, for each of our lives. Okay? Then from there, we work together, we appreciate together, we help each other through our difficulties, whatever they may be. And I like that. It's like emphasizing this teamwork that we need to look out for each other and follow through. Right? So all of these things, basically, to take responsibility for our own actions and to see this interconnected reality. We don't just do this on our own. We have to see our connection with Amida, with infinite causes and conditions. And through that, we have a deeper appreciation, a deeper gratitude, and this becomes our foundation. So these are things that, from my father to being able to be with other Buddhists pretty much all through my life, but many of us have been that kind of way, growing up at the temple, taken to the temple, or coming with our parents, or coming to find aspects of Buddhism that resonate. So maybe I'll go and check it out. Maybe I'll come to a temple. Maybe I'll find a temple. Maybe you've come to 2 or 3 or 4. So this one feels nice. And then you come and you listen to the Dharma, and you nurture yourself, your own spiritual path, kind of weaving your way through what are they saying in these different words. We read this stuff every single week. What does it mean? What does it mean? And a lot of it, so making sure we recognize our limitations, and through that we have a connection with Amida, shining light upon us. Please join me in Gassho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei, for your message. Now, please stand for the Gatha, May Peace Prevail, on page 89 and 90 in the White Book.
With kindness in our voice.
Thank you to everyone who helped with the altar preparations and with the service. Special thanks to Reverend Dennis, Brian for YouTube, Jane for the altar flowers, and of course Lenny, who is our constant organist. And to those who brought refreshments. Thank you very much. Are there any newcomers or visitors today? Hello. Can you introduce yourself? Thank you. Welcome. So we have some announcements. Oh, sorry, one more. Welcome, Michelle. There's a big beam in my way. All right, so next Sunday, November 2nd, is our Shotsuki monthly memorial service, and the Abwa membership meeting is after that. On Sunday, November 9th, we have family service and birthday Sunday. So if you have a birthday in November, collect your quarters now. And on Sunday, November 16th, we have the Gomei Nichi service at 9 a.m. With Honko Shinran service memorial at 10 a.m., followed by a vegetarian Otoki luncheon, which is the Abwa Group 2 is organizing that. Then on Sunday, November 23rd, we have family service and Ask Reverend Dennis session. And then on Sunday, November 20th, that date doesn't make sense. The 30th. It's probably the 30th. 23 plus 7 is 30. There is no service because it's the 5th Sunday. Are there any other announcements? Okay, well then without further ado, we will do the Ask Reverend Dennis session.